This is Inside Urology, Cutting to the Chase, a podcast from the Indiana University School of Medicine Department of Urology. We talk about all things urology with Dr. Clint Carey. Each episode features conversations with physicians, researchers, patients, and we'll share some of the stories shaping the field. So let's cut right to the chase. Welcome into Inside Urology, Cutting to the Chase. I'm your host, Annie. I'm here with Dr. Clint Carey, the chair of our department, and this is episode 8. We're on episode 8. That also means we've been podcasting for 6 months now.
That's right.
How do you feel that we're doing?
Well, I think you have some numbers to back up this.
Yes.
But we're pretty experienced podcasters at this point.
Yeah, I mean...
And, you know, we've had to not even air an episode that we shot for some of the learning aspects that we've done so far. But we're getting experienced.
Yeah. And we do have to apologize for the last episode, the audio issues we had, mostly just user error.
Yep.
But we're learning. We're getting there. Nothing on the fault of the guest, just us.
Right.
So
that's right.
We apologize, but we'll get there.
We're going to make a concerted effort to help the audio situation moving forward.
That's right. So we have 8 episodes. We have over 1,000 total plays, 100 plus followers across all of our different platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, listeners in 50 cities across multiple countries, which is cool, and a lot more followers on social media, specifically Instagram. So go follow us.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's incredible. Obviously, we're still early in this process. You know, we're going to keep building this, but to think that our department has reached that many cities in multiple countries is something to be proud of. We would have not done that without this effort, and we're gonna continue that, and our guests today are gonna continue to help us highlight the wonderful program that we have here.
That's right. So let's get right to them. Today we have a fun episode with some of our residents. We thought it'd be fun to chat with them, see what the program is like, how living the life of a resident is. And so today we have Chief Resident Dr. Jenny Jang and also Dr. Ben Schmoiser. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves, where you're from, where you went to medical school.
So before we jump into that, so this is July 1st, 2026.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, so Jenny has been a chief for 7 or 8 hours, and Ben has moved up into the 4th year role also for 7 or 8 hours. So they're going to talk to us about their vast experience as chief residents and 4th year residents. And we were joking earlier before we came on the podcast about the selection process. Obviously, we have 25 residents, and these are the select 2. It was an intense selection process, but they passed the mustard, so to speak, and here we are. So we're gonna learn a lot about them and about the program in general, and have some fun today. So back to Annie's question.
Yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Ladies first.
All right. Well, I was born in San Jose, California, but I grew up in Taiwan for 13 years and then did my college at Cornell in New York, and then my medical school also in New York, North Shore LIJ, and then matched into urology here in Indiana, and that was my first time in the Midwest, which was residency orientation.
I'm a little bit almost opposite of that. I'm a little bit more of the typical kind of homegrown Midwestern candidate that we get a lot of here. From Cincinnati, Ohio originally, and then I did all my schooling in Dayton, Ohio. So I did my undergrad at University of Dayton, and then there's a medical school, Wright State University, where I did my medical school in Dayton, Ohio. I actually didn't match into urology my first time around, so I actually did a research year down at Emory in urologic oncology. It was actually pretty formative experience for me. And I think it allowed me to match at a strong program like this. So I matched here back in, I guess that was 2023 now. So been happy here in Indianapolis ever since. It's my first time living in Indianapolis though, once I moved here.
How do you like it?
I think Indianapolis is great. We love it here. My favorite thing, and everyone has heard this a million times, my favorite thing is Indiana State Fair. I go every year. I go 4 to 5 times when they're here.
Oh my
I make my
gosh.
call schedule around it. I'm never on call on those $2 days. It's great.
And so your favorite thing is what? The food options they have there?
The food, I always do 2 laps around, look at people, walk, exercise, eat.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And we're just on a listening podcast and no video, but for the listeners, I mean, Jenny weighs all of probably 95 pounds, and she's talking about eating, deep fried Snickers and things like that.
Yes, yes.
What's your favorite?
Depends on the day. I
Okay.
think I've tried most of the things I've had, like the turkey leg. I've had deep fried Oreos, deep fried okras. Love the potato chips. Love the sirloin tips. I get that every time. Last year they had bourbon chicken for the first time. It's pretty good. I had Wisconsin cheese curds for the first time too the other
Okay.
day. It was okay, but love it. It's a great experience. Highly recommend. I'm ready this year. All of Kev, who's my husband's family, is coming in August just for the fair. So
Wow.
we're all going to go.
That's awesome.
We have to get Dr. Sundram to update his slide deck for the residency interviews.
So you like Indianapolis, you like IU. Why IU for both of you?
I'll go first. So, I actually came from a program without a home urology program, and the local urologists in my town, actually always talked about IU as like the place to be in the Midwest. And my first time I actually applied, I didn't even get an interview here. So when I applied the second time around, my wife had actually already matched here for radiology residency. So we were doing a full year apart as I was reapplying to urology residency. So I kind of had 2 reasons to really want to end up here now. So I obviously had to end up back here to try to match with my wife and not have to do, kind of 5 to 6 brutal years apart. But it was also kind of like a, I don't know, perfect scenario because this was also probably the best place that I could possibly want to end up. I really wanted to end up in the Midwest. I wanted to end up at a place that kind of gave me a full, breadth of experience in urology and a really high volume of really highly complex urology. So once, I saw kind of those 2 things coming together, it was kind of a perfect storm. Very lucky to have matched here, but those 2 reasons were probably the biggest reasons I want to end up here.
I think for me, as I went through the interview process, I realized what was most important for me was getting a strong surgical and clinical training. I wanted to graduate and feel like I could tackle anything that comes my way, any surgery, any consults, etc. And I felt like from what I heard, IU was the place for that. And now that I'm here, I think everything holds true. I remember IU was my second to last interview, and I came out of it, and I was like, oh no, my internal rank list completely shifted. And I think the reason was I knew IU was a strong place, but when I met all the faculty during the interview, everyone seemed really down to earth, and I would say that still holds true.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that too. That was, I wanted to graduate and go on to a job where I'm not really afraid of every type of case that comes my way. And I still got 2 more years to go, and I think the 2 probably the most busy years to go. But I feel like when I see the Chiefs graduating, they all seem to be at that level, which is really nice.
And I think there's a lot of strong programs out there, but I do think IU is special in the sense that we cover 6 different hospitals, of which I think 3 of them are trauma ones, and the VA is the highest level. So you really do see all kinds of pathology, and I think that's very valuable for a resident as they're training and learning. And I do think now that, I'm on the other side of fellowship interviews, I do think that the faculty holds a lot of weight and have been really helpful in my success and have really supported me. So I think if I were to go back in time, I wouldn't change my decision in any way. And, coming from having never been in the Midwest, making that decision was kind of bold in the beginning, but I think everyone should make that decision because Indy's also great on top of IU.
They have the state fair.
Yes, exactly.
You talked a little bit about the faculty. Can you talk about the mentorship? that you've
Yeah.
gotten?
So coming here without really knowing many of the faculty personally, and I think you can probably agree to that, it's a little daunting. When I look at my class, there's actually 3 or 4 people that went to IU, and then the other one was from Indianapolis. So they kind of came in with more already support here. So it was a little scary. But once we get here, they actually match us up with a faculty mentor who we have quarterly meetings with. And then also on top of that, the interactions with the faculty are very, you would expect them to be very formal, but they're very informal. They're always checking in on you. Every time you have a rotation, you make small talk, but then they check in on kind of how the service is going, kind of what your goals are. And it's not one of these things that feels like a super formal process. So I feel like the mentorship is kind of abundant. You kind of pick people that I think you jive with a little bit more than others. And then it's also kind of this formal process that they built in case you're somebody that struggles to find those relationships. So I haven't had a major issue finding mentorship. Honestly, I go to different people for different things, which is pretty nice.
I agree. We have something formal, but a lot of it is also very informal. I think the relationship between the residents and staff, everyone's a little different, but you really find your people here and they support you in different ways.
Maybe talk a little bit about, I think the relationship that all the residents have. I did my residency here as well, so I don't have anything to compare it to. But talk a little bit about the relationship you guys have, and maybe it's because it's required because of the clinical volume. You just have to be a strong team. But talk a little bit about that, maybe even in and outside of work.
I'll let you start. Well, I'll start.
Yes.
I'll start. I think within our residency, it's one of these bigger programs, which is nice because you've got a lot of different personalities to select from. But at the same time, we're very, very busy clinically, and that creates kind of this environment where people really do make pretty strong relationships. And, there's some people you spend more time in different rotations with, but every time you're doing a rotation with somebody, you're, seeing them early in the morning, you're staying a little bit later in the evening, you're texting each other in the morning, hey, I'm going to, do this when I get in or whatever it might be. And I think those day in and day out interactions really make for really strong relationships. And we just had our annual roast, which we can really take advantage of our relationships and show how well we really do know each other. And I don't think we can air those clips on this right now.
I want to hear it.
So I put my body on the line for this roast. Again, we can't air these, but we really do kind of embrace that. We're like a little bit of a work hard, play hard place where we really are really fully invested in the work while we're there. But then, at 5, 6 p.m. when the day's winding up, try to go and socialize with each other and spend some time, try to arrange pretty routine and regular gatherings, which I think is really important for being able to kind of deal with the stresses of residency.
Yeah, and kind of building on that work hard, play hard, I feel like because everyone has a similar mentality, we're all helping each other at work, and then everyone tries to finish everything so we can enjoy the rest of the day together. Like, for example, if we don't have Campbell's on Thursdays where we go through academic things, we meet at Gugman to have beers. So it's a weekly hangout. And then on top of that, weekends, sometimes we just get together and hang out. Other times we have actual scheduled events like the roast, graduation, what do we do? We did like a sports thing.
Indy 500.
Yes. Yes. That was really fun when we used to have the RV and
You're really embracing the Midwest culture.
Yes, it's great.
Cornell to RV and
Yes.
500.
And
Wow.
I'm on the roof of the RV.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
When you used to have the RV, did you have to get rid of it? It was too much partying for
I
you?
think Ramsey had a kid.
Ramsey had a kid,
Yeah.
but they're bringing it back next year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now that it's on the podcast, it's real.
It's real. It's out there.
Gotta be.
What's something that maybe you didn't realize until you came here about the program, or maybe that has surprised you that you've learned about the program?
I think, a lot of my perspective before I came here was from older urologists that had kind of known the long history of IU. And when people tell you things as med students, you don't, you kind of say, oh, okay, that's really interesting. That's really cool. But you don't really know what it means until you see it. And when I got here, I was kind of shell shocked because of how much just high volume of really complex urology I saw across not just oncology. I think we're really known for oncology, but you see it with oncology, you see it with, benign prostate problems, you see it with Riley, and it's not like you're learning from one person that does something really, really well. I might see the same case done by 6 or 7 different people, and each of them do it at a very high level and a very high volume, which I think was probably the most surprising and I think beneficial thing for our training. And I think that was most surprising because I just didn't know a place like that really existed, and I don't know how that compared to where you did your medical school, but that was pretty surprising to me.
I think the other thing was how happy everyone is, staff and resident wise. I feel like all the other programs that I saw personally, I feel like, people feel the work and they exhibit their feelings, but I feel like here everyone's really happy. They're doing hard work, but they're enjoying it. And I think that really makes a difference in terms of the culture and the work ethics.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's very rarely like I had a great day yesterday with Morgan. We were there pretty late, but we were both kind of like having a really good time during it. And I feel like that's how the energy is in most of our rooms every day.
Talk a little bit about, you talked about you originally born on the West Coast, obviously spent some time in Taiwan growing up, and then you were on the East Coast. So this was your first experience with the Midwest. We interview applicants. Obviously, you're a direct example of that from all over the country. But I think this is true no matter where your program is. If it's not where this applicant grew up or has some knowledge or family, there's some apprehension about taking the plunge and going living in a different part of the country. So talk about how that was for you. And obviously, you still have a smile on your face. So,
and I'm staying in the Midwest.
And you're staying in the Midwest for fellowship, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But just talk about that a little bit.
I think it really boils down to what your goals are for residency. I feel like if you really understand what you're looking for, if you want really good training, I think you really should kind of put yourself out there, step out of your comfort zone, come to IU. I think, it's easy to be around family, and understand that sometimes circumstances you need to be around family for support, but it's only 5 years. It's awesome to go out there, see the rest of the world, find out about different cultures, meet different people, and then after the 5 years, you can go anywhere you want, whether it's closer to family, etc. And I think we've had quite a few from the East Coast, like Mary Soyster, Megan Bach, and I think all of them who kind of decided to come to IU, they all really enjoyed it, and they didn't really have any family support here, but they ended up having like best friends forever. And I think stepping out of the comfort zone, going to a place where you don't necessarily know anyone, that makes you work harder to find new friends and maintain those friends. So I would definitely just step out of your comfort zone because it'll be worth it. I think my situation was a little more unique as well because my husband worked from home, so that definitely makes it easier. But after COVID, hopefully more people can be more flexible in terms of moving places.
Yeah. Can you talk about maybe some of the most memorable cases you've had or something that's really stood out to you during your time here?
There is one when I was at Methodist. It was a very young, healthy female who was mountain biking, and she accidentally fell off the bike and got impaled by a branch. We were consulted because her UPJ was completely disrupted. She ended up we tried to put up a stent in hopes to realign, but she ended up getting a neph tube. When we were doing the stent, we did realize she had a distal ureteral stricture as well. So after the neph tube was placed and she was all healed, she came back to clinic, and we talked about the different options for management and treatment of her strictures / UPJ disruption. And I think that was a very memorable case because it really involved listening to the patient's goals and what they wanted, because there's so many things that we could do. We could do an ileal ureter. We can do maybe like a it's too different. You could do like a urethral dilation, pyeloplasty, etc. But she opted for just a simple nephrectomy because she didn't want to deal with any complications because she's healthy, she's young. And I think that's probably what contributed to me wanting to go into reconstructive surgery, because there's so many ways that you can treat a disease process, but you really have to listen to the patient's goals to figure out what they would be happy with. And for some people, you might want to do something heroic, but that might not be what the patient wants.
I mean, I definitely have a ton of interesting cases that I think about. The ones that I tend to always kind of go back on are, and you'll see this a lot, I think is a 2 when we do our oncology clinic rotation. And I mean, I love oncology, so I tend to think about these cases a lot, but there's a lot of people that are kind of sent here to our department for, they've been told by a lot of people that the scenario they have is, they can't be operated on, or there's no more options for them. And I do feel like we tend to give people some options that maybe they've never heard of, and maybe some operations that they weren't thinking about before. And I've been on a lot, again, I'm still kind of in the earlier years, but I've been on a lot of these operations where it was kind of their last resort, and it is a big, giant operation, and there's a lot of people, a lot of teams involved, but we somehow find a way to get them into the surgery and get them out of the hospital. And I think that's always a pretty eye-opening experience. And I'm it's very fortunate that we're in those scenarios where we're not necessarily sending people out, but people are kind of coming to us for that.
And on a less serious note, I just thought of another very interesting, bizarre case that I did when I was at 2. It was a guy with a pelvic horseshoe kidney that herniated into the scrotum, but he had a staghorn stone. So we basically perked into his scrotum to remove that stone. It was great.
That's not a real case.
That's a real case. I got the videos.
Oh, wow.
That's the 3rd case I've heard of this week of all of their organs going into their scrotum.
How many things were what was in there?
How many things were in there?
Ascending colon, transverse colon, kidney, everything was in there.
Oh my goodness.
I got pictures I can show you later.
They gotta have really good scrotal support or jock straps.
We do. We have big ones in Indiana.
Heavy duty.
So what's next? I know you still have a little bit.
I'm still figuring it out. I know you know your exact plans already, at least for the next year or 2.
As of 2 days ago.
As of 2 days ago. You can go first. I guess I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I've been toying around with the idea of fellowship. I've been trying to figure out if I'm going to go straight into practice. I've got a lot to think about. My wife is interventional radiology resident, so we're trying to match up our timelines and figure things out. But so I'm still keeping my options open. I've got probably 6 months or so to figure that out. And then Ginny.
I just matched into reconstructive urology at Mayo Clinic 2 days ago. Super excited for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Super exciting.
Yeah, now I got to figure out jobs. Yeah, but excited to finish chief year and go into fellowship. But residency went by so fast. I'm a little sad that I'm already in my last year.
Yeah, it's awesome. Congratulations on that. Okay, I've got a question. Favorite spot at any hospital that you found during residency, whether it's either to go hide, hang out, or just spend time?
The VA sushi is not my answer, but it gets an honorable mention. It's surprisingly
really
good. It's surprisingly good.
Okay.
So if you ever find yourself in the Indianapolis VA, the sushi's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's sushi, but okay.
Whatever it might be is pretty good.
The chef looks legit, though.
Yeah, you would know. I know you like to get out of the hospital once we're done working, but I think Eskenazi has a nice rooftop where it looks out over the city. I actually think they put up a new turf lawn up there. We should go check that out. I haven't seen that yet.
Mm-hmm.
They have an herb garden up there.
They've got herb garden.
I'm really trying to think through all the spots that I hang out in, but I feel like I don't really care where I'm at. I just sit wherever, everywhere. I'm like somebody that doesn't bring a bag to work. I have everything I need in the pocket of my jacket.
Just show up
Yes.
ready, just
Like,
yourself.
I can be anywhere. And when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go.
Have you ever been on the roof of the cancer pavilion here?
There's a
I
roof.
didn't know that was an option. Actually,
Not sure it's supposed to be.
yeah. No, I've never been.
I've been in the basement. Is it pretty? Is there a garden?
No, there's no garden. I've been on the roof accidentally of the cancer center here. I was going, it was Adam Calloway was a resident or fellow, and he was trying to take me from where we are now over to maybe the ICUs or something.
Mhm.
And we weaved our way and we went out one door and we walked outside onto the roof. And neither one of us knew that's where that door were. We didn't know where we were. And it's actually quite nice. You can see the fireworks from downtown if you
Oh,
wanted
wow.
to. There was another door across the way. And so we were very smart about this because we didn't want to just start walking towards this door because we didn't know if the door we were going to come out of was going to lock or if that door was locked. And so I was like, you know what? I'll stand here at this door. Why don't you go see if that door's open? Because we don't need to call the police to say, can you rescue a professor and a resident off the roof of the hospital? So that was kind of cool. And it was actually a couple of graduating residents. Probably shouldn't do this, but you can get on the roof from the stairwell over here. And you can, as long as the latch is open, you can open the latch. There's a little ladder up there and you can crawl off. And one of the chief residents
might
showed
find
us
our way
that.
there.
Now everybody
Let's do
knows.
it, yeah. Oh, actually, I just thought of it. I watched July 4th fireworks one call weekend on the helicopter pad, landing pad at Eskenazi.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty
Mm.
cool. You see all the fireworks all around the city. And then another really cool place is the abandoned ORs at
Oh,
University.
that actually might be my favorite.
It's
On the
great.
third floor or second
Second
Yeah.
floor.
There's
yeah.
like really funny looking mannequins, and it's kind of a cool place to hang out.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we've all been there by now.
Yeah.
All
I've
of
spent a lot
IU
of time.
Urology have been there.
I spent too much time in those ORs.
I think, didn't you shoot some roast
There's a lot of
material?
skits
Yes.
in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skits in there. The mannequins are very helpful for the roast.
The mannequin has a mustache that we put on too, I think.
Yeah, it's on there still.
Just to be clear, we're not condoning residents or faculty to be on roofs of hospitals. We've covered a little bit of this, but about what, essentially what you guys think of the program. But if you were talking to a fourth year medical student, we actually have several here, both IU students and visiting students that are considering IU. What would you tell them?
Just do it. Don't even think about it. It's obvious.
I think, I talked to a lot of the people that end up coming here after they did aways at other places and have been at other places. And I'm always very curious because I wasn't very lucky to have kind of a home program where I could see urology day in and day out. So I'm always kind of curious what they liked about here compared to there. And aside from the training, I think people do tend to find that people are pretty happy here and that it's, even though the training is really good, people are kind of just chill and happy. So I think I would recommend to the fourth year students that they check out other places and give kind of an honest comparison. I think Ginny's talked a lot about kind of getting out of your comfort zone. And if heading to some place like Indianapolis or something is daunting, then, still consider it because it might be worth it for the training. But that's why I always like to hear what they think about their other places.
Yeah. And I think it's important to keep in mind that you will graduate from any residency and you'll be a practicing urologist. No, you'll be a good urologist. I think when you're looking for programs, it's just important to find one that fits your goals and find people that fit what you're looking for and you feel like you'll get along with all of them. And I think people have pretty good reads on each other. So I think just go with your gut and listen to what your gut's telling you. It's accurate.
So the first question, I'm not sure is fair. So we'll skip that one.
Read it, though.
Favorite attending to operate with?
Oh, Dr. Carey.
You guys have been,
Of course.
you've been in the operating room long enough now over the years. What's your favorite OR music?
It can't be Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, I know. That's Dr. Carey's favorite. You're like in the top 0.0001 percentile.
That's right. That's right.
I actually thought I was gonna love OR music more than I do when I was a medical student. I think every medical student thinks about the OR music a lot more than I do as a resident. I do love some of the classic like 70s rock.
Yeah.
I like sometimes when Dr. K puts on some heavy metal if the scenario calls for it.
He's been doing some throat singing too.
Oh,
Yeah, actually pretty good for OR
Okay.
music. Yeah.
I don't like 90s pop. I mean, I don't hate 90s pop in general, but I don't like operating to it. And I like EDM a little bit, but not for the whole day. I think I like EDM for like the first 2 cases or the last 2 cases, but not the whole day. I don't know if you have a go-to though.
No, I'm not picky. I just like other people playing the songs, and
I like what makes
it.
the nurses happy
Yes. Yes.
because then they're happier.
Yes.
all right. One word that you describe IU urology as.
Only one.
Only one.
Dr. Carey, you have to participate in this one too.
Oh,
I got to go first, or I got to go last?
You get to choose.
I'll go last.
Okay.
Gosh,
I knew it.
exciting.
Best. Does that work?
yeah, that works. It's one word.
I would say transformational.
That's a good one.
It's a long word too.
It is a long one. Scrabble is big time on Scrabble.
All right. Last one, unless you
Yeah.
have any others. Do you guys have any hidden talents or anything fun that you like to do? Any hobbies?
I think you have some hidden talents. I definitely don't have any hidden talents. You basically see what you get here. I am a one-shot king though for the roast. All of my scenes are shot in one scene.
One take,
no
that's it.
editing,
Yeah.
nothing.
I really
Oh,
need to see this
You're just dialed in.
after this.
Hobbies and things I like to do. I really enjoy music, and for people that aren't familiar with Indianapolis, I actually think Indianapolis has a little bit of a better music scene than I realized, because I think we get a lot of people going from Chicago to Nashville. So there's quite a few concerts that happen here, and all the big acts definitely come through. And then love stand-up comedy. And then Annie and I were talking about Major League Baseball. Indianapolis doesn't have that, but I do like some Cincinnati Reds games.
A fun fact about me is apparently I dream in Mandarin Chinese. Like I sleep talk in Mandarin, even though my Mandarin is so terrible these days because I don't speak it in Midwest. But every time I'm dreaming,
I think
I
do
yell
the
out
same
Chinese
thing.
words.
Wow.
Is this only when you're sleeping, or like
Only
in the
when I'm
operating
sleeping.
room at all? Or
Just when I'm sleeping and sleep talking.
was that the first language you learned?
I don't know.
Don't
It's a
remember.
mix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then things I like to do. I love boutique fitness. So things like F45, Pilates,
I didn't know that
hot
had a name.
yoga. Yeah.
Boutique fitness.
I never knew
Yeah,
that
I
was a
didn't know that
term.
either. Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I need somebody going like, go, go, go with the timer. But F45 downtown, a bunch of us go. Vic goes. Chris Ferrari goes as well. So has a very strong urology presence. There was one time, I think there was like 4 urology related people there at one time. So if anybody suddenly needed a catheter, I think.
Got it covered.
we got-
If they overhydrated,
yeah.
you could help them.
that's awesome. Well, I think that's all we have.
Should we throw one of the questions back at you? And then since you were
Sure.
also here, is there
Yeah.
a good one?
Whatever you guys think. You know.
Well,
more-
oh, hidden talent. What's your hidden talent?
Hidden talent.
I'm caught off guard.
Or one fun fact that nobody
It's fair.
knows.
This is an open mic.
Maybe one for Annie too.
Oh no. This is not an open mic.
We can do that one, or why IU? How about that? Or both.
We do. What do you miss about training when you were a resident here versus what we have now, or like compare contrast, or like what's the same? It's like something since you trained here.
That's a good one too.
I think a lot of things have changed since I trained here. It was 6 years, now it's 5. It was 3 of us per year. Now there's 5. I think the thing, and so that has changed a bit of the dynamics. There's different rotations and things like that. What I think that I'm proud of, and I think some of us on faculty that came through the residency also would be proud of, is that despite things changing, the work ethic, the mentality of, I think, trying to gain everything you can out of this exposure to be the best you can be is still there. Even though there's more people that we have to get through each year, I think the hunger of residents wanting to be the best they can be is still the same. And I think because of that, it speaks to what you guys talked about finishing training and feeling comfortable as you can when you're done. And so I think just that we're in the same things you guys talked about earlier, the kind of team environment and team atmosphere. That was the same when we were residents too. We relied on each other. We had a lot of fun outside of work as well. And so I think the kind of environment of the residency has remained the same, even though there's been some programmatic changes. I don't have any hidden talents. They're all in front of me. Why would you hide those talents?
I feel like you've got a lot more hidden talents than you're not. Yeah.
Can you do cartwheels?
No, absolutely not.
Jumping jacks?
Like jumping jacks?
Yeah.
Anyone can.
She's a workout queen, Yeah.
Oh, one thing I cannot do is aerial yoga. I stiffen up and my palms become so clammy.
I don't even know what that means.
Like you're in the air doing
with like a band, and you're supposed to like swing around, flip. Yeah, I cannot.
That was an option.
Oh.
Try it out.
That's a boutique fitness place here in town as well.
Not here. I tried it in New York, and I'll never be back. It doesn't need to come to Indy.
Probably just hurt yourself. I don't. Yeah.
What about handstands? Can you do a handstand?
Nope. I've been working on my arm muscle so I can, hold the retractor, but holding myself is a little too much.
What about grip strength? How's that?
I've been working on it with the little grip thingy.
The grip strength improvers?
Yeah. And I have like a rice can that you massage. You follow exercises, and it's really hard to move your hands in a big, big bucket of rice.
Ben was just telling me the same thing.
Yeah. I've got too much rice. And I can't move any of it.
If you have leftover, you should give it to me. So I'll eat it.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Anytime.
Thanks for having us. It was an honor. We were the chosen two.
Oh, yeah. Tough selection process.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Inside Urology. Make sure to follow, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who might like an inside look at the world of urology. And stay tuned as we keep cutting to the chase.